Aloha and welcome back to the week that was. This week was obviously a hairy week. We're going to get into it. I hope everyone is doing well and is staying dry. We finally got a day where there's no rain here in Hawaii, or at least where I'm at on the Big Island. Some of the other islands still are dealing with a lot of flooding and evacuation, so we pray that those people will stay safe and stay dry, and that this storm will conclude and then everybody can get back to their normal day-to-day lives. But as far as markets go, this week was not necessarily a great week. If you were long, if you were short, this week was printing a lot of money for you. Also, this week was great for people who were looking for dollar cost average season. So also this week we got a couple more Robinhood Ventures companies added to the fund. Additionally, we also got Robinhood Social beta testing. We've covered that in the pod a couple days back when it debuted, and I've been using it and I'm enjoying it. The content is great. The creators are great. There's only a few thousand of us yet, and it's been really informational, and the truth through the process of seeing all these posts and all these trades is I feel a lot better there, as far as copying somebody, right? You're seeing verified trades there. We'll deep dive into that a little bit more, but let's get into the overall close of today. Okay, let's get that up. I was going to try to go on spaces, but I honestly don't know how that works yet. Okay, here we go. Is this the... Let's see, give me 1 second. Oh, right. Reloading. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me. The internet is not great. I'm considering getting maybe Starlink here, at least for the broadcast. To get you guys some better content, a little less glitchy. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is the VIX. As you can see, this is the year. Let's go down to today. Let's go by the hour. Okay. So as you can see, there's still an elevated level to the VIX today. It spiked. Also, for those of you who don't know and don't celebrate, today was Triple Witching Day. Index options, futures options, stock options all closed today. So that caused a lot more volatility in the market, and the market definitely showed that volatility right there. You can see it kind of spiked. Poosh, gave us a 20, almost a 30 on the VIX today. We'll check the crude oil futures. How did we do on that? All right, perfect. So as you can see, as far as the moving averages go, it seems like, that's for the hour. Let's get it on the day. And get a good gauge of those averages. Yeah, okay, we're back up a bit. Okay, so as you can see, this is from February or early March to where we are today. It's currently trading at $98.23 crude oil. Those are pretty high. As you can see, it's got a pretty steady uptrend. It's way above all of its moving averages, even its 50-day. Is this the 20-day? Regardless, it's trading high above its averages. Now, it will come down. It tends to do that, right? So keep your eyes open. It will come back to these averages at some point and then maybe pop back off. I'm suspecting that we're going to get to over 100. We're going to kind of grind up higher until the Strait of Hormuz solution comes through and some hard, fast de-escalation happens. Not quite sure it says restricted. Oh, today's Friday. We got all those like options events happening. Don't worry about that. That happens to you guys too. All right, moving on. Let's see. Where did Bitcoin go? Here we go. Okay, so Bitcoin closed, I mean, surprisingly high on the day. I mean, with how violent the day was, we're still here within the moving averages, right? We're not below. So that's nice, right? We're below, this is probably the 50. We're below the 50, and that's okay. We're trading right above his average level, which is nice, because then that means we found a decent support area. Okay, let's check the SPY. Ooh, okay, so here's the S&P 500. As you can see, it's trading far below its moving averages here on the 4-hour chart and on the day. It's okay, here we go. We've broken the 200 day, right? So we're now trading below that. And that's not a bad thing. As you can see, it can definitely get worse, right? So this is where you start keeping your eyes open. Like I said last week, this is sort of the area we're looking at, because you can see now it's broken this last test right here of 65.50, right? So now we're below that at 65.49, 46. So now that we've broken that, we can be pretty certain that we're going to head down towards this area of 63.30. On the prediction market side, it's priced in pretty high that the S&P 500 will dip back down. Here, we'll get to that actually. Let's check the prediction markets. That's a great gauge for the overall market because you can see where people are putting their money, right? Okay. Also in prediction market news, there is only about 90 people left as far as with a perfect bracket, and we're not that far in yet. Maybe 80 something people. So that's pretty hilarious, honestly. Okay, here we go. Let's find it. Private. Okay. S&P. End of 2026. How high will it get this year? How low? Okay, here we go. Okay. So as you can see, these are the projected outcomes, right? So we're already below that. So this closed basically. Now we've got a 92% chance we're gonna get below 6,400, right? Now we've got almost 70% chance we get below 6,300, right now currently trading, right? And as we go down, look at the possibilities here. Like it's got a 50-50 chance of getting below 5,900. Okay. Now this isn't bearish. This is just looking at the overall outlook on the money. Now this has, let's see the trade volume on this. I usually use my phone, so forgive me if I can't find it at the moment. Well, I would imagine the volume on this is pretty high. I just currently can't find it. Okay, irregardless. The percentages are still there. And if anybody's going to be trading this, they're going to know that this is what they're looking at. And maybe this is where banks are starting to hedge their positions now. They will start buying this here, right? So just start loading up on this here. Like, because if it doesn't, then you're in good shape and your portfolio goes up. But if this does happen, then you got a high chance of making some decent sized money here. So personally, I'm probably going to start positioning in somewhere in this area here, because it's already got a 2/3 chance, or as you can see, almost 70% chance that it's going to get down in here. Now this right here, 50-50, is a gamble, right? I would consider a gamble. Even here, this is 8%, right? You're selling dollar bills for 92 cents, basically, or how you look at that, right? But this is kind of where I'd be looking, or at the very, very least, right here. This is a good buy range, I think. Because if you want to hedge, this is the place to start doing it. And they've already predicted that this is how low it'll get this year. Now, it might rally back. Like, you might be wrong for a second. But if this sticks, then this could counteract some of the fluctuations you'll start to see in your overall long portfolio, right? So keep everything in the long, but this prevents some of the agitation and anxiety that comes from watching your position go against you. So at least this will come towards you, right? This position, if you were to just consider it as a hedge. All right, so we can see, so it's kind of priced in at 50-50 on the 5,900. Let's check back here on where that would be. 50, 59, that it gets below. So here. Oh my goodness, that's the support. That is a far fall. Let's get a line in here. Here. This is a 50-50 chance, gang. Right here. Ish. Right? Because it's got a 50-50 chance of getting below 5,900. So it'll definitely test this support area is what I'm looking at then. That's not going to be fun for a lot of people, right? People are thinking that this is a dip. Personally, I think I'm going to start stacking cash, or at least putting it into treasury bonds, right? They pay roughly about 4% interest APY, and they basically trade sideways at about $100 a share. So at least your money will stay stable as this comes down. Or you start buying puts. Like if we're shooting for 58 something, I might start looking at long put positions, because this is kind of a long curve, right? So if we were to actually get there to that here, right? I don't know how sharp of a decline we'd have to see, but we'll just put it up here at 59 right here. Okay, so if we were to get this, then because we're already seeing, see these lines I put in the other day, it's literally following it, right? Was I not? And it broke it, like right here. Look, so it's just gonna find its way down here. It's gonna rally off of something. It does, and then we're going to see that fall down towards here. So rather than draw a new line, I'm just gonna extend this one, right, down to there. Now that's not great, right? Because then that means that my current thought that it will find its support here, and it might actually. We'll put a box a possibility here, and then we'll put a box of possibility here. Right there. All right, perfect. Right, so these are the two general areas, right? So I don't necessarily suggest buying a whole lot here, between here and here. Because if it doesn't catch a bounce from here, then it's going to keep falling to here. That's not pretty, and that's not going to be fun for a lot of people. But this is where it seems like it's going. And as far as timeline goes, as I kind of drew a rough estimate, we're going to get there. Holy moly, August. Okay, so if that's a tertiary guess, so we're about to have a pretty hairy summer then, if we don't catch that bounce somewhere in May, right? Because this is May. It might rally a bit, and this might be completely wrong. It might bounce off of here. We tested it. All right, we're good, and then we chase all-time highs again. That would be great. I would be happy about that. Right, start buying the dips here, but this is not a support. This is basically a test, and it seems to have failed that test. And if it fails the test, it might just continue to fall. So keep your eyes open on that. Let's check the overall global. This is venture total. Okay, global. Okay, so it's broken the all the moving averages here on the venture total as well, and venture global. What is this thing going? I can't even remember. Well, VT looks at the entire world. It's the world economy. It's like buying the planet. I mean, a lot of the world economy is the S&P 500, so it's going to test that kind of situation, right? It roughly trades the same. So I wasn't expecting any different. Let's see what else we got here. My bread and butter right here, XSP. These index options is how I trade the days, right? Got lots of notes here, but no sense. Look at that. So, yeah. I would say from moving forward, like these positions are going to be all bearish. Right? We're trying to make income. We're trying to make money. I'm not trying to be a contrarian and a crybaby. I want the markets to go up. It doesn't seem to want to do that. So I'm going to go with the tide. Okay. Welcome. Okay. So if you're joining me, we're just going over the markets. We went over the overall week, how it ended. Now we're going to go over a couple of things that we got through in the week. So we got to try out Robinhood Social, and that's been great. Let me pull up my app here. As far as I know, it's not on Legend. You have to use the InPhone app to use Robinhood Social. Let's see how it's going here. So my favorite part about Robinhood Social so far is the ease I feel when I look at these trades and I consider a position or follow them, because they're verified, and that just helps you stress a lot less about putting your money behind something, because there's the receipts right there. You can see where they bought it, you can see where they sold it, and you get more. You feel more faithful to follow these trades, I guess, if that makes sense. And also you can use it as validity in your own trades. You can see somebody else bought these positions that you also have, and you're like, okay, cool. They did it for a lot longer, and they seem to have a lot of conviction in it, and I think that just adds more strength to my conviction, which is good for everybody. Okay. Options event. That's so funny. I bet everybody's going through that today. So if you don't know, when you trade options, some of those options far exceed the net worth of your account on one side or the other, right? I trade spreads, so you're basically robbing Paul to pay Peter on those spreads. You get paid here, and you use that pay to buy the other side, and now you have kind of a definite max profit, definite loss. But throughout that closing process, your account just gets blown up for a few hours. Like those losses and gains are still locked in, right? So don't expect it to be what you're seeing on those huge numbers, right? If you're not used to it, like the first few times I traded Robinhood spreads, assignment and exercise came in, and I was like, whoa! I didn't buy all this, and I also I didn't get all this. I was like, what? Are you giving me these? No, that's not what's happening. It's going through the OCC where it clears out all the options, and then it gets redistributed, right? It doesn't get done inside your brokerage. It gets all sent to one clearinghouse, and then they all settle it, and then they send it all back to everybody at the right allocations. So don't freak out. All right, Robinhood Social. Here we go. And over the last few days, we've been getting a lot more users. We've been getting, so we started off with 1,000. Oh, what's up, Card Cap? We got 1,000. And then I'm seeing more and more people getting added in there. I think they're going to get up to about 10,000 by the end of the month, which is a week away. And then I think 10,000 more, 10,000 more, 10,000 more. And as a beta tester, or one of the lucky few who got to be the first 1,000, it was really interesting. Like I've never been on a social media app where there's no one around yet, but the few people who are there, just long-term Robinhood investors or holders or users. Like some of these people have been up here since 2014, back when Robinhood Social was kind of Robinhood was a social media app. I'm getting this all posthumously because I wasn't there. 2014, was that 12 years ago? I was still doing a lot of hair. I didn't know anything about trading. I wasn't doing that. I was just using my skills to make an income like everybody else. So seeing that these individuals have had conviction that this long, right? And so interesting. Of course, you can see every people's trades. You can also change it to amounts rather than percentages, which I'm having a great time with, because and then you just post right here down at the bottom, right? You might recognize some of your people here, some of your friends. But I'm really excited for this because you can really see the people you follow on Twitter or X. You can actually see their receipts, see how good they did. See. Right. Robinhood Social is going to change the world. Honestly, it's a place that's built on truth. You cannot post without a verified trade of some sort. So it's a truth of some sort, which is way better than what we're getting now, because you can get a lot of fake and a lot of nonsense, and then you can follow that nonsense if you're not used to it yet and you don't know. So expectations are everything. I will say that multiple times for the rest of this stream and for the rest of this streaming career, because it covers a lot of stuff. But the one caveat to having expectations and good expectations is understanding that expectations come from an amount of experience. And you need that experience to gain a good expectation, right? In any sort of experienced profession or job or anything, you get a better expectation gauge by being there longer. If you are willing to learn, at least if you keep just saying no, I want it my way, and not following the actual statistic and expectations of that situation, you're just going to leave yourself in a stressful bind. So just keep your expectations level and keep adjusting them over time, because that is what gets you longer. And these days when it's red and it hurts, these are the days you got to hold or go take a walk. For individuals who didn't know that today was a particularly complicated day because of all the different types of options closing, right? Like I said earlier, it's triple witching day. It's my very first one, and it wasn't terrible. Like I read last week on Investors Guild, Stephanie talked about it, and throughout the week I was seeing more and more content creators posting about it. So rather than trying to be a contrarian, because of my lack of experience, I've never dealt with this before. I followed them, right? I followed their bearishness, and I went in that direction. And today, actually, I made more money than I made the rest of the days this past week, which is really interesting because I just followed the direction. I tried to find the bottom, I'm not going to lie, and that definitely didn't go with me. But I kept my risk small and my possibilities large. Because the VIX was so high, I gave myself a pretty wide range on the top end of that net and a pretty small loss. So I'm okay with where that ended up because overall I'm up. If you're on Robinhood Social, you can go check what I made today. And I don't shoot for a whole lot of money every day because I'm all about trying to just stick to paying for my life with these realized profits. And then the rest of it just goes back into growing the overall portfolio. If you have little goals at first, it makes it a lot easier to achieve them. So I started with like, okay, cool. This week I'm going to try to pay for the coffee or the acai bowl that I have when I go to the salon on Saturdays. And the coffee can be $9, acai bowl can be like $20, right? So that's like $25 that I try to make in a week to just pay for that because I know I'm going to buy it when I get there, or go pay for gas, right? It's like, okay, this is how much I pay for in gas. Let's try to make some gas money, right? You don't want to triple it and try to like, okay, cool, now I'm a billionaire today. I promise you that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And right now, the places that it used to happen, which is the cryptocurrency, the blockchain, pump fund, where you could 10x, 100x your accounts in a matter of days or weeks, we're not in the right atmosphere for that. Bitcoin has found a stable area, but this is not a bull market by any stretch of the imagination for crypto. People on Twitter aren't posting their year-to-dates anymore because if the S&P is down this much year-to-date, most people are down that much or worse. I'm not going to lie, like I'm not. Like I take my profits, right? But the overall positions, yeah, they're down. That's just how it goes. You got to know that the markets don't trade up, and they definitely don't go in the direction you want. And when they do, you're not going to take profits, right? You always forget, or you're all like, oh, it'll keep going. It never keeps going, and we sit here in our dirty diapers, right? So take profits when they're up there. Pick up more while you're down here. This is a conviction test, right? So, but this chart is not pretty, guys. Like, it is a falling knife of a situation here, right? And momentum is one thing. Then you got the overall sentiment on the market. Costs are going up, operating wise, delivery wise, transport wise, electricity. That weighs down on these companies, but it weighs down on everybody more or less equally. So that just gives you opportunities rather than just sitting and being sad. Like, it's all about trying to find a good opportunity for you and what feels like a good buying opportunity. I was talking to a client today. I do haircuts here at the house sometimes, and he was concerned about the overall condition of the economy, and the economy can't be really measured in a matter of weeks, right? It's like numbers were coming in and they're not too bad. The Fed talked this week, right? That was another big thing. We got Fed talks this week, and they maintained rates. And that was honestly priced in for a while that they were going to maintain the rates. So that messed with the markets on Thursday. But I read a stat earlier this week or yesterday that this is the 8th consecutive down Thursday on the S&P, which is a weird data set. But we'll check back next Thursday and see if we still end up down that day as well. But like I said last week Friday, we got to put our egos down, or last week Sunday, we got to put our egos down. We got to put our awareness up and put our emotions outside somewhere with the dogs or something, because that's not going to help you at all this week, and it didn't. And I mean, for the few people who caught my Sunday live, the week to come, excuse me, maybe I might change it to the week to be. I keep saying that, but on the week to come on Sunday, we talked about the futures and how it pumped for a second, and then obviously it didn't stay there. As you can see, you sell those rips until we're out of this overall war. It's a war. We're not gonna F around and say it's not a war, but it's a war. But the Fed maintained their rate, and but I did see from Paper Gains, Jason from Paper Gains, he posted about the September next, either this September. Yes, it was this September that they're pricing in a rate hike. So if they're going to price in a rate hike around September, and I saw the markets, we projected that the markets might be down, right? So let's bring that chart back up real fast. Here we go. Open sesame. Okay. Here we go. Once it'll load, we'll talk about it. But if they're projecting a rate hike in September, was I saying that? The rate hike is going to be in September, then that means that this here rate hike here somewhere. August, September. I think it's a September 14th is the meeting. 13, 14. It's a 2-day thing, right? So I'm not quite sure. Now that I'm saying this to you guys, I have to think about this for a second. So they don't rate hike very often, and the markets hate that because now the interest rates just went up. But that means the bond yields go up, your saving account rates goes up, right? But that means the housing rates, borrow rates, the loan rates, fixed mortgages, right? That all those rates go up. So if they're pricing it in, then I would say try to keep your eye on that then, because the markets will continue to go down, and I don't know why they price hike. I haven't been in this game long enough. If you check my Robinhood Social, I've been trading basically since 2024. Relatively small for someone in this game. But man, it's been a very volatile year. I've been lucky a couple of times, but I flip over a lot of rocks. Like, anybody who knows me knows I'm a very curious human being. I like knowing things for the sake of knowing something. I find that enough for me. So being right is way more important than being rich, and I think I'm right in this case. And I think I'm going to get a lot of people who are going to confirm that over the time being. We'll bring this chart back up one more time. We'll just zoom in. Because right here, right? So I'm starting to see my ideas come to pass, right? Like, these are predictions. And the prediction markets have them priced in to go even farther down than this. So we're here. Maybe we test it Monday, right? So Sunday, we'll come back and check here on the week to come on how it's doing Sunday. Because we got a rip last Sunday, and then this week is down. Maybe we see something like this here coming up, right, where it kind of violently comes down, or violently comes down, right? Test, and then we go boop, right? Because if we can bounce off of this area, this is a bit of like what they would call that double bottom, and I think we're out of it. And if they're gonna anticipate a rate hike, maybe we'll actually be up here. All right, let me take the auto scale off. Because who knows, right? Because on the bull case, right? Let's be bullish here for a second. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer all the time, right? So we come down here, we test this one, boosh. We break out. We test that 7,000. It comes down. Retest this here, probably. And then from here, we start to see a steady progression up, right? And if we were to continue in this kind of same overall direction, that you see that kind of, I'm just trying to gauge the line here. August, September. Oh, no, I'm not trying to buy anything. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Let's go out a bit more. Okay, here we go. So September 14th. So maybe so there's kind of a bull case, I guess. So if the markets continue along this trend that it had, right, when it was bullish and everything was going well until it stopped sideways down, if it tests here, breaks out of this like breaks out of here, tests the 7,000, and then I think we could get something pretty good. Because if they're going to rate hike, that means the markets are stable, they're making a lot of money. But I don't know the overall conditions that would bring us there, right? Because if we go back to here, let's check how high it'll get this year. What are the projections for that? Oh, these are so sad. Oh, Jeebus. Okay, so it has a better chance of getting down below 5,900 than it does to get above 7,200. Okay. This year might suck. This might be an overall bearish year. Oh, dang. All right. I'm going to mull over this the next few days, and I might start positioning in some short positions because this is not pretty. Because that's 7,200, and they're pricing in a rate cut. So this is 74. So it has a 50-50 shot of getting to here. Not even a 40% shot. And even less of a shot of getting any higher than here. So this might be somewhere about the high for the year. Oh, boo to that. So this might be more than a correction. This might just be an overall bear market start. Sorry to say. Just looking at the charts and being realistic, I don't see this getting better. I mean, because the overall pricing is just bad all over the place. So they price in a rate cut or rate hike. The prediction markets have over 7,200 at less than a 50-50 chance. Like, it has a better chance of getting down to that 50 to this here. Right? It has a 56% chance of getting here and only a 46% chance of getting anywhere around here. And that's not good. That's not good for anybody. Oh, excuse me. Let me just check here real fast. Now, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in a chat. I'm going to check them real fast, see if there's anything there. I'm doubtful, but I appreciate anybody who's watching this live, and I appreciate you for watching this posthumously as well. Here we go. This is where I would play some sort of Jeopardy music if I had it. So imagine some while I take a look at this real fast. All right, here we go. This is where I would play some sort of Jeopardy music if I had it. So imagine some while I take a look at this real fast. Okay, all right. So nobody in there real fast. All right, thank you so much for bearing with me in that few seconds. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anybody in the chat, and I wasn't, and that's okay, because you got to build it first, and then it'll grow. And this is the middle of the day on a Friday. A lot of my community is working. A lot of people are still struggling from the weather that we've been having. All right, let's transition out of here. Okay, I think we covered all that's important there. Okay. Got about, okay, we're looking about 45 minutes in. Now, if you haven't already checked out some of the other really influential finfluencers here on YouTube or on X, I highly suggest it. Right, start off with Crossroads, Steven, you got Tanner, you got Tevis, you got Matt Money. Right, start off with those guys. You're looking for high level education. Paper Gains, Jason, man knows what he's doing, and he follows the charts, and he's impeccable at reading them. He's an options trader, so he knows how volatility and volume affects the entire market as a whole, and he can see how things change affects the market upcoming, right? So if you can find things that are happening now that will affect your positions a couple weeks from now, you have these opportunities to cover your own at. But I don't want to get blocked out here. I don't know what YouTube blocks people for, but you want to cover your own butts out here. This market is not pretty. We've got a severe downtrend, and I hope that I am wrong and that you'll come back here in a couple weeks and laugh because of how terribly incorrect I was about the overall downtrend. But I'm rarely wrong, and usually I'm right, and then I position against my own self, and I'm like, damn, I should have just stuck with that one. So be safe, be careful. I hope your positions go towards you and not against you in this upcoming season. We'll keep an eye on these lines that I drew, because it's gonna be a tough summer, I think. We're gonna hit 5,800 before we hit 7,000 again, I think. But farewell, stay safe,